On Friday the 1st, 1932, the sounds of the humble GPO clock in Sydney echoed across all corners of Australia. Live fed from the newly established ABC, the chimes of the clock were transmitted from 12 radio stations right around the country. This marked a very promising start to this public broadcaster's prosperous future, and its success continued to ring as powerfully for many decades, with ABC television reaching 68.1% of the market in 2000. However, times have rapidly changed from the early days of the ABC. We are now hurtling into a largely digital space, where the analog-based intermediaries, like ABC, no longer assume their traditionally authoritative roles. Alan Rusbridger, editor of The Guardian, alluded to such emanations as early as 2010 in his editorial, where he saw that the mass ability to communicate with each other held truly transformative qualities on the overall media ecology. Well, to put it simply, these transformations he was alluding to relate directly to the concept of disintermediation. The proponents of this theory, Evan and Worster, simplify disintermediation as a culling of the middleman. And with no intermediary, audiences now have limitless choice given their unprecedented access to content. This has meant that public broadcasters like ABC no longer enjoy the monopoly of information that gets fed to audiences, but instead have to fight for currency amidst a seemingly endless sea of contenders. This highly competitive environment has had deleterious impacts on ABC particularly, with the government confirming that in addition to the May 2014 budget cut of $120 million, the budget will be further cut from July 2015 by a further $207 million over the next 4 years. So we could just end the story here and conclude, using ABC as a case study, that the diminution of traditional authoritative intermediaries has led to the death of public broadcasting. But ending it here is a very reductive and simplistic consideration of the progression of publics and publishing and its effects on social life. After researching this topic extensively, the public broadcaster's unique identity actually has a very promising future in this digital space. Though conceived in the analog domain, I argue that ABC can flourish profitably, and I say this due to two key factors. First, it's their indelible historical legacy, and second, it is in their identity as a pioneer of future media innovations. Playing on their strengths both from their past and future, ABC finds itself with increasing relevance in our social life. So let's start off with component 1, its legacy. ABC has played a very influential role in Australian society, having documented great milestones in Australian history. I'm sure you've watched your fair few of ABC documentaries in history class about, say, the women's suffragette movement, or maybe even the Mabo case. My suggestion is for ABC to take advantage of this rich repository of information they've collated for 80-some years. The cogency of this suggestion is enhanced by the media phenomenon known as archive fever, first postulated by French philosopher Jacques Derrida. Archive fever involves the human desire to find traces of the actual event or artifact in efforts to preserve memory. And flowing on from that, the preservation forms the basis of what becomes individual or collective experience. As such, these archives of ABC's content not only holds significance for the organisation itself, but also has a ripple effect on the way the Australian society understands their own history. And bearing this power is an incredible privilege and finds a permanent place in ABC's unique identity that is impossible to replace by any modern media company. As such, ABC needs to take advantage of this phenomenon of archive fever to gain back the momentum and significance it enjoyed in its past life. However, that's not to suggest that ABC is a relic of a historical past. That is no way forward thinking. It can also be argued that ABC is a pioneer of future media innovations, encouraging both experimentation and creative thinking in this rapidly changing environment. Borrowing from Graham Murdoch's analysis of the BBC, we can see that ABC is in a similar inviolable position given their state of public funding. Murdoch argues because they are not subject to the same commercial imperatives as commercial broadcasters, they have more scope to pursue creatively risky projects, without clustering around output designed to attract the biggest revenue. Not only that, but the opportunities for innovation are even broader in the digital space, meaning that ABC finds itself with an even more significant role in our current digital media ecology. There's speculation that public broadcasters are spiraling into obsolescence in this converged digital media landscape. But from our application of media theory, it doesn't seem to be the case at all. Quite the opposite. But we are entering territory where organisations like ABC can thrive and flourish. Tapping into their historical legacy and their experimental qualities, there's a real bright future ahead for the ABC. So, rather than consider the sounds of the clock silenced in the digital space, they are ringing louder and more vibrantly than ever amidst the dings from Facebook notifications, buzzes of text messages, and the tweeting sounds of Twitter.